AllReasonNoLogic. Hello everyone, it's 3 against the Horde. On our recent Wacky Wednesday stream, we played a gang up style match, and here's the cast of one of the more entertaining rounds. You're witnessing a Kings of the Hill multiplayer challenge with Wanira, Rowan Morse, and our very own Tank Tom up on the hill. Around the island surrounded by lava, we have individuals from all over the globe. With me is the full crew, Bruticus, Predith, and also Tank Tom, so we have representation on both sides of this match. This has some tricky shenanigans, and we know it's a wild one. Please enjoy.
Starting on the low ground, you will notice, you can see that myself, Predith, and Twig, along with one of the viewers, Chronographer, are jumping in to one point where we're planning to boost Twig's eco all the way up to the tier 3 level.
It's gonna be interesting to see how you guys do this, because we've played a few rounds by this point, and this is the first time that we're watching this replay, and it was definitely a surprise up at the top to hear that T3 detected later on in the game.
And we've got Majaxa as well. Is that how you pronounce it? Majaxa. Also helping out, so there's actually 4 of us there.
Yep.
While we usual selfish play.
While we get this eco going, you'll see that I've gone straight into the Geo so that we can move all of this across to Twig, get him all the power he needs for it. Bruticus was going to cover all of the rules on how we made this possible.
So the rules is the attacking players at the bottom of the hill are not allowed to leave that bottom area. The top players, which are the defenders, the Kings of the Hill, are only allowed on those first 2 tiers where you can see Tank Tom and Rowan and Wanira. They are not allowed down. The rules were we were not allowed to attack each other for the first 10 minutes of the game. Once 10 minutes was done, we were allowed to attack. There was no air, no nukes, and no long-range plasma cannons, and no tactical missiles. So EMP missiles and I can't figure the tactical missile for the Cortex.
The Catalyst.
They were disabled. Catalyst, that's it. They were disabled as well, just to make it a little bit fairer.
Yep. We also gave the players on the top tier a plus 75, so their eco would be boosted out of the gate, and we relied on some honor rules of the players to not build any static defense that would be able to reach the top tier, because shelling them would just be too effective. Jumping back down into the bottom section of the map, the Geo is up and my lab is being reclaimed. All of that metal is going to Twig, and he will soon be able to get T2 up. He's currently sitting at a nice and healthy 6 mexes, soon to be 7 as soon as all of my building and reclaiming is done. We're detonating a comm for an extra 1250 metal, and the T2, and that's going to fund the T2 lab.
Looking at the statistics at this point in the game, you can see down the bottom what we're trying to do with these 4 players. Up the top is match the income that the 3 players up on the hill are producing. So you can see we're almost at their hills with 3,500 metal produced at this point, compared to just slightly more, closer to 4,000 each of those, just so that we got that one player that's going to challenge them, and then the rest of the players playing somewhat individually. We do have Chronographer going around the map and helping whoever he can. Up on the hill, we've already got the T2 transitions from all 3 players going individually. Myself, Twig, that T2's up, and it's being the units being shared between players. A little bit of a miss micro by me. They're giving me all their eco, so what's the point of giving them the units? They didn't have the eco to spend it, so after they assigned duties, they just handed that back to me.
Yep, but we did make use of some of it in order to get things going, taking some of the micro burden. For example, I pulled mine into making the T2 Geo, and then swapped it back so that it would be consuming Twig's resources, and soon, and the Twitches coming out will be assigned to us, where we'll use that to overcome Twig's energy excess problem and turn it into metal for him.
Whereas up on the top of the hill with the plus 75%, all of the build that you normally do was wildly different in that you're generating significantly more resources than you're expecting. So build power was kind of the key.
And you can
to-
see in the statistics there at this point of the game, we're at 5 minutes now, there is 3,000 metal lost between the three players up on the hill. So that
Yeah. One
really
of the
shows the
things
build
One of the things
power
that
need.
shows that difference a lot is the fact that at the 5 minute mark, Tank Tom has 14 build turrets. So, big difference right there.
So our main focus up there was to get eco going early, and we left it relatively late until we got around to building the units.
You really can see with the statistics up the top right of the screen that the lower end of the map, the larger team does have that eco advantage because there are just so many players. I think we've got, 13 players, and the disadvantage though is that you're not sharing. So that combined eco, you're playing individually. You're thinking about a 10-minute mark. What do you usually have at 10 minutes? You might be just into the earlier stages of T2, usually at 10 minutes, whereas with the kind of economy that Tom Wanera and Rowan are getting up on the top of the hill, they easily have enough eco to get that fusion stage of the game within 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, we're seeing a fusion right now at 6 minutes. Should be up by 6.5 minutes. So, that's just an example. For those of you who are Game of Thrones fans, you might have heard that 1 is greater than 5, and that's sort of the idea here. One powerful player be able to take on multiples.
That's it. And this is just to show the power that is coming out of just even wind turbines. Just the 20 wind turbines that Wanera has at this stage, was 30 now. They're producing 1350 energy, so more than a fusion reactor.
Yeah.
Just off of wind. So that is the advantage that the hill gives you. Back down in the blue base, with the constant support of the team's economy, we're just finally doing a T2 transition. We've got T3 transition. We've got the advanced geothermal plant up. We've got a fusion up, which is enough to support those support the building of those cheaper T3 units.
Mm-hmm. And running around the map, we see large-scale T1 ecos from a lot of the other players. And in particular, another note for a large eco has been Asgareth, who has managed to take a large portion of the map for himself, just based on how the units spawned, though we're not seeing much in the way out of the T2 extractors and T2 energy out of him yet, so definitely going to be running the wire when it comes to that 10-minute mark.
Ridiculous getting to a T2 eco, but I believe going back to the T1 units just to go for that tactic of flooding. And we're at the 8-minute mark, 2-minute countdown until it's all hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, we'd run a few rounds of this, and we'd learnt that the go-to strategy was overwhelmed with numbers rather than necessarily having the high firepower individual units.
Yep. We see Aphis coming down for 2 of the players on the top, as well as the beginning of an army with fiends, ticks, and hounds being the go-to units for the moment.
If my memory serves me correctly, we need to keep an eye on those fiends because I think I do something dirty to them when they come down to attack me later on. Do you remember?
If you manage to kill fiends with ticks, that's disgusting.
No, I'll point it out when it comes up, but it's a different strategy. It cost me, but it was funny as hell to do it.
Coming out of Twig's T3 lab is Karganeth's, which is designed specifically to overcome the choke points of this map. Karganeth's able to walk up cliffs, and Twig is distributing them, 1 to myself, 1 to Chronographer, and 1 to Madge.
And it's worth noting the T3 up on the hill is only just coming up now.
Yep.
And sorry, Madge, I know I shorten your name in the game. I'm doing it again now. We're all doing it because we're Aussie. That's what we do. We shorten everything, except for our privates.
They can't get any shorter, they'll be innies.
Try and work out what Macca's is. So that one's a pretty well-known one these days.
Some hounds coming up to Tom. Bunch of ticks. I think he's expecting the same in his face. When you're just going for fusions, I don't mind it because you are getting that extra 75%. So plenty of energy coming out of those.
Yep. And we're just about to tick on to that 10-minute mark where all bets are off and the game will really start to kick off.
I must apologise in the replay. I'm seeing that there is an error. We're not seeing the correct factors coming out of the wind farm, even though the wind's up 19. The winds are only just saying 19, but it is an extra 75% that's coming out of those. And here's the 10-minute mark.
Here comes the push straight for me. I think they realised I played that spot numerous times.
Yep, so here comes...
The plan here was if we could crack someone and work our way around, that seemed to be the go-to winning strategy for the top.
Yep.
Here we go from Bruticus. Very smart. Self-detonation takes out that entire army. Extremely intelligent. Quickly jumping up onto the hill, though, so we don't miss the action. Those Kargis have gone straight in with Praedyth and Majaxa.
Kargi's getting the build power. This is a devastating start for Rowan. He's self-detonating his comm. Seems like he's not happy with that.
I mean, it was going down as soon as that fusion popped in a few seconds. He was hoping to, I think, cause damage, but the distance was there.
I did wonder how all that died quite so quickly, but it would have gone down anyway because we didn't have defenses in those areas.
Tom's hounds heading over to our eco. Thankfully, Tick's stopping them from shooting the eco for the moment. Kargi's caught up in a hound fight. The Wanira's Kargi's coming out. We'll clean up a lot. We'll clean up our Kargis. Unfortunately, the defensive advantage there means they can just get more than we can. A little bit of damage and some dodging of D-guns going on. Very close, that one, but the cliffs giving me a slight advantage makes the angles a little difficult. But those Kargis are now moving towards the end of their usefulness, at least on this side of the map. A push coming up of T1 units breaking open the side. Bondman
doing good to distract. At the same time, hounds coming into the eco base that we have, but luckily just in time a demon comes out. We realise that mass units was the tactic of the middle, so the demon, a great unit to clear them up in that choke point.
Yeah. Quite expecting that, and that.
Those hounds could have cleaned us up, but they didn't, thankfully. We've got Bruticus pushing up with his mass ticks. And these are a great distraction for those hounds.
The mass ticks we were expecting, it was the Kargis over the hill that entirely wiped the base out of the gate that completely caught us off guard.
We should not have been able to get Kargis up that fast. That was
utterly disgusting, and this was something we were discussing off the top, that the communist economies probably doesn't balance well in this game mode.
I'd just like to point a few things around the map. So we've got 4 Kargis going north from Wanira. At the same time, Tank Tom is pushing down south, realizing, okay, we got to start taking out the opponents rather than just defending. And then myself, I've seen a great distraction from Bruticus of all the hounds that had seen the Karganeth, and trying to get that Karganeth up into Tom's base. We'll jump back there in a second. Wanira maybe a little bit of a misplay with those Kargis not pushing back out, and Bondman doing good to distract with more and more of the light plasma bots, the maces. Now here we are in Tom's base, 31% on that Kargi, and we've seen the advanced fusions up, and we're going to watch this tick down. This is quite interesting what happens here. 3%, 2%, 1%, so close, and there goes the eco. Plenty of micro from
right down
Bruticus.
to the wire, but that's another base down up the top. We have 1 player's worth of eco left holding off the hordes, but a lot of T3 units. One thing that should definitely be noted, hero of the game, Chronographer, he's got a single Karganeth heading on up the backside of the red base. That Karganeth is the original Karganeth given to him, so he has just been working that around the map.
16 kills and still counting, and just as this fusion reactor is about to come back from Rowan rebuilding his entire base, that Karganeth takes it back down.
Yep.
Bruticus coming in to clean up the rest of Tom's base.
With the way that these cliffs are situated, it's very difficult to get vision off the top with radars and things, so we largely didn't know what was coming until it was halfway through killing our bases.
Talking about what's coming, Tom seeing that Kargi and thinking, how can I take that quick smart? The D-gun would be very good, but who have we got there?
That is our hero, Chronographer.
Yes, he's seen it himself and he's dealing with it himself. An announcement says, watch what I can do.
And unfortunately, comms struggle very hard with dealing with Kargis, similar speeds but lower range. And now we really are down to just the highest of high grounds.
Kargis were extremely good at playing up ticks as well.
Oh yeah, the Kargi seems to be the hero unit on this map. We thought it was ticks, but the Karganeths really do have something going for them.
The South team's coming online with some pressure being put on South, and this came at the perfect time to keep those Kargis from near away from heading north like the other Kargis he's got. He's got 5 heading up north and 5 heading down south to clean this up so that he doesn't lose his economy.
But that is a lot of units, and even though they're only T1, the Kargis can only kill things so far. So if they follow the right track, and again, Chronograph up in the top tier, he's Karganeth destroying the conversion, destroying the energy, destroying all of the build power.
Bondman's base
What a
going
hero.
down. And at the same time, Chronographer's commander actually went down to those 5 north Kargis.
Yep.
We've got a tremor coming from Az, taking out that frontline defense, still hunting that last commander. Bit of pressure here with these Kargis going on the map. I was starting to shit my pants a little bit, knowing that they were coming.
We knew by this point we were well and truly done on the top of the hill.
Some killer D-guns there by... who was that? I did not see. A blue player. Bondman.
Bondman. Looks like I'm running a second or two behind, so I was able to catch those killer D-guns.
A very efficient trade for Bruticus, taking out Fusion with just ticks. Divers online to take out the Kargis. Going for the surround bonus. They don't do anywhere near as much damage, but when you can get one on each side, that damage stacks nice and quickly.
Yep. And without the energy income, that comm is no longer able to stay cloaked, which means that this game is essentially over.
And there we go. We thank everyone that was participating in this game. It sure was fun. We like to do these 3 times a week. We host lobbies. So check out our Discord, and also feel free to leave some replays there. We have the link down in the description below this video.
Yeah, a particular shout out to the members of the AllReasonNoLogic Discord. They made this a fantastic session. It was significantly more successful than we were thinking it might have been at the start of the night before we got going.
And it was only like that because they were able to put up with our jank, put up with our honor rules, and make this a great time. There was there didn't seem to be any hard feelings, and there were plenty of players that jumped onto the top of the map, which was fantastic because it meant that everyone got to have a go doing different things, and it means we can come back at this with a fresh set of eyes and a lot of data to try and make it even better the next time round.
We hope to see you up the top of that hill. Just quickly looking at the statistics or the graphs, just showing how much Chronographer did just with that one Karganeth. You can see that green line on the screen there. All with one single unit. Absolutely massive damage.
Yep.
Great job done by the top team as well. Very strong push at the start. Greatly done with those Karganeths pushing back. Probably not quite enough defense around the economy, which meant that we could get up there with those Kargis, but it was a very unexpected tactic to see T3. I think maybe spiders were expected up the top, but not the T3.
Not the T3, yeah. And I think
One
that only slight tweaks we might be able to accelerate the tops economy significantly with just some very minor changes. So we'll give that a go and see how we can get this to balance just right.
Just remember,
One other
everyone,
thing.
we really would appreciate if you liked and subscribed. These subscriptions help motivate us to make more of these casts and also host more of those lobbies. Bruticus.
One other thing before we finish up. If you join our Discord, if you jump onto the announcements channel, if you're a new player and you'd like to possibly guest appear in a 1v1 or FFA, maybe a 2v2, in the announcements channel we have a little form to fill out. Send it in to me on the Discord and we will review it and see how it goes.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Catch you next time.